Hello everyone, this is the Mind of Lilith, and thank you for joining me today for part 1 of my astrological portrait for actor, director, and business mogul Tyler Perry. I decided to delineate his chart to help people understand why he refuses to relinquish some creative control over his movies and TV shows, which have received a lot of criticism over the years. In spite of this, Tyler refuses to change, okay? But he is still immensely powerful, successful, wealthy, influential, and talented. Tyler's spirit and his energy is not something to be toyed with in this dimension or any other dimensions. He was very powerful in the past life, and so powerful that he's actually using that energy in this lifetime. It's not a coincidence that Tyler Perry came from absolutely nothing to become one of the wealthiest and most powerful men in Hollywood. So according to Astro.com, Tyler Perry was born on September 13th, 1969 at 9 o'clock in the morning in New Orleans, Louisiana. He has a stellium of planets in the 12th house, including the Sun in Virgo at 20 degrees, Pluto in Virgo at 24 degrees, Uranus in Libra in the 12th house at 3 degrees, Jupiter in Libra at 10 degrees, Moon in Libra at 11 degrees, Mercury at 14 degrees of Libra, and Mercury is making a conjunction with his ascendant in Libra at 19 degrees. So he also has Mars in the 3rd house at 25 degrees of Sagittarius, square the Sun and Pluto in Virgo. Mars makes a trine to Venus in Leo at 18 degrees in the 10th house. Tyler also has Saturn in the 7th house in Taurus at 8 degrees, which explains why he's not married yet or hasn't gotten married at this point. He has Neptune in Scorpio at 26 degrees and Chiron in Aries in the 6th house, which is the house of Virgo. Now, if you look at Tyler Perry's 12th house, we can see kind of like a chain that goes from the Sun to Pluto to Uranus to Jupiter to the Moon to Mercury to the Ascendant. There is a very strong possibility that Tyler Perry is channeling energies and messages from a past life that is a part of his personality, which would also explain how he interacts with people in general. Okay, so the 12th house represents things that are hidden, secrets, past lives, releasing the ego, illnesses, the subconscious, dreams, illusions, etc. Tyler has the Sun and Pluto in conjunction in the 12th house in the sign of Virgo. In a past life, he may have been killed for being himself. The Sun represents our ego identity, and Pluto represents power, control, and transformation. Pluto conjunct the Sun and Virgo in the 12th house may indicate someone who refused to submit or relinquish their identity. This could indicate fighting to the death or an identity hidden in a current lifetime to avoid persecution that happened in a previous lifetime because of who this person was. So with the Sun and Pluto in the 12th house, Tyler may have been killed for refusing to change his behavior or refusing to submit or relinquish power. With Virgo in the 12th house, Tyler may have been a witch doctor, a priest, or even a lesbian woman who was killed for her sexuality, right? Virgo in the 12th house is someone who can turn their dreams into reality through consistent and practical effort. It's not a coincidence as well that Virgo also represents cameras and photography. So Tyler Perry is a screenwriter and he's also a director. He deals with making movies, television shows, etc., etc. With the Sun in the 12th house, Tyler is very private. He has a secret identity or lives a double life based on his past life experiences of being punished or even killed for being who he was. It is possible that Tyler fought to the death, or he refused to die, or he refused to change and was therefore punished for his insubordination or his inability to give up control or power, okay? So the Sun in the 12th is someone releasing their ego identity. And a significant aspect of our ego identity is our gender or our sexuality. So with the Sun in Virgo in the 12th house, how does Tyler release his ego, relinquish his ego to express his true self? Well, to understand this, we will look at the 10th house of social status, our reputation in the world, and our ideas of success, which just so happens to be where his midheaven is located as well. Some people have the midheaven in the 9th house, some have it in the 10th house, and some may have it in the 11th house. What is very interesting about Tyler's chart is that not only is his midheaven in the sign of Cancer, which represents the mother, But Venus is also in the 10th house, and it's in the sign of Leo. Venus represents women in general. Leo is the sign of the actress, the celebrity, or someone who expresses themselves organically and authentically. This is someone being proud of who they are, right? So the ruler of the midheaven is the moon, which is in the 12th house of past lives. And the ruler of Venus is the sun, which is in the 12th house of past lives. So this motherly, feminine, flamboyant, big mama energy is Medea, the sun and the moon together. A woman who is both the father and the mother, like the matriarch of a tribe or a large family. And this is one of the reasons why I believe that Tyler Perry was a woman in his past life. And in this lifetime, he may have a double identity. To the outside world, especially when he's conducting business, he puts on a masculine costume. Yes, he's genetically male, but he may not be comfortable in the body of a man, right? I'm just speculating here. He didn't say this. I'm just speculating based on what I'm seeing in his chart. So he's putting on this masculine costume, but behind the scenes and within his heart and soul, he may feel like a woman. And I believe this because of what I stated earlier. Pluto conjunct the sun in the 12th house indicates someone who died for who they were, how they looked, what they did, or what they refused to do. So with the Sun-Pluto conjunction in the 12th house, Tyler was very powerful in the past life. And with all these 12th house placements, he is very spiritual at the very least, or he's a natural occultist, someone who understands how to manipulate energies on a spiritual level. He has an intuitive understanding about how to channel energy. And I believe that he's channeling the woman he was in a past life because, as I keep mentioning, with the Pluto placement, Tyler Perry refused to let go as he was dying. He refused to let go of something important to him as he was dying. It could have been an item, it could have been a belief system, it could have been knowledge, it could have been an identity, it could have been his behavior. There was something he refused to let go of as he was leaving his past life. With Uranus in the 12th house, just like Jasmine Guy, Tyler retained a lot of memories from past lives. As he was dying, he may have been holding on to or buried with something, like a charm or a book or something that he could use in this lifetime to connect him with his past life, like a bridge. He could have been saying something repeatedly with Mercury conjunct Jupiter and the Sun conjunct Pluto, which is also an aspect for OCD in some cases. He could have been doing something repeatedly over and over again, like casting a spell or saying a prayer to protect him in the afterlife and maybe protect his identity in this lifetime, right? I'm just speculating here based on what I'm seeing in the chart. But he's definitely a natural occultist. He may even have a birthmark on his body that indicates where he was injured in a past life, but there was something in his past life linking him to this life. I wouldn't be surprised at all if Tyler Perry has dreams or visions of his past life experiences, especially when the Sun enters Virgo and Libra or Mercury enters Virgo and Libra. As a matter of fact, if you listen to this message, it may trigger or activate past life memories during this Mercury and Virgo retrograde, which will probably elicit some visions or dreams or whatever. Now, I'm not saying that Tyler Perry's doing witchcraft in this lifetime. I'm saying that Tyler naturally knows how to channel and harness the energy of women because of his past life experiences and his knowledge as a very powerful woman. I think his past life ended violently at the hands of a man because Mars in Sagittarius is making an exact square to Tyler's Pluto and his Sun in the 12th house. Mars in Sagittarius can sometimes manifest as a religious fanatic. It could represent a crusader, a colonizer, or a man who is willing to die for or kill for his beliefs. This could also be someone who uses their political beliefs to justify violence. You guys have to remember that when Europeans colonized America, they killed the indigenous witch doctors and medicine women and other spiritual people who refused to convert to Christianity. People were also killed for being gay or lesbian. So Europeans systematically killed indigenous medicine or wise women to kill the culture. So I wouldn't be surprised if in a past life, Tyler was a victim of this system. And it could explain why in this lifetime, he decided to incarnate as a male to hide his true identity as a woman, as a cloak or a shield, right? And this is absolutely fascinating. I did not know that this story was going to turn out this way, but I shouldn't be surprised. It seems like Tyler has twin souls, or he has a soul of a woman in a body of a man. And he chose the body of a man as a vessel to gain more power in this lifetime. Back in the day, you guys know women were subjugated by men. They were not allowed to have complete control or agency of their lives, especially after the Christian conquest. So women had to submit to a man and basically turn their lives over to these men. With Tyler having the sun in Virgo in the house of Pisces, the sign represented by two fishes, one fish is moving backwards and one is moving forward, which can cause stagnation for a lot of Pisces. But I feel like for Tyler, the past life fish is communicating with the current or future life fish. This is like operating in two different dimensions, which gives Tyler heightened psychic ability. So what is the medium that Tyler is using to facilitate this exchange of energy and information? He's using his writing, Mercury in Libra, the camera, Sun in Virgo, his emotional experiences from his childhood and his past life, the moon in Libra in the 12th house, and Uranus in Libra, which deals with electromagnetic energy. This is like the spirit body, and the moon represents the soul body. The sun represents the spirit body too, but that's a different conversation because there are many different iterations of the spirit and soul body based on the planets. Okay, so the 12th house of Pisces represents imaginations, fantasies, and even films. So Tyler's sun is illuminating his past life as a woman. And this is why I believe he feels like he has to have creative control over his work, which brings me to Chiron and Aries in his 6th house, which is the house of Virgo. So Chiron represents wounds that have been inflicted on us because of who we are. And these are wounds that cannot heal because we cannot change who we truly are. All we can do is use our pain to help others to live more authentically. So with Chiron and Aries, there are deep insecurities about a person's right to exist or be themselves. There's also insecurity about masculinity and even masculine sexuality. And with Tyler's Chiron being in the 6th house of work, daily routines, and lifestyles, this is almost like having a Sun-Chiron conjunction. But Tyler feels worthless if he's not working, not just because he's a workaholic, but because his work is the only true outlet he has to express his feminine identity. The Chiron in the 6th house is pulling from his 12th house stellium. So with Chiron and Aries in the 6th house, he feels totally worthless without his ability to write these scripts because this is the creative outlet that he uses to express his innate femininity. So in other words, this work is incredibly healing for him. The work that he does as a director, as a writer, as a producer is very healing for him. The dispositive Chiron is Mars, right? And Mars is in the 3rd house of writing and communication. Mars makes a trine aspect with Venus and Leo in the 10th house. So Tyler, as a genius, is using his male identity or his masculine presentation to project and protect his feminine identity as Medea without losing his respect or power in society. So here we can see how the trine creates opportunities. Tyler's Mars in Sagittarius in the 3rd house is giving Venus in Leo the opportunity to confidently and courageously express itself authentically and even aggressively, proudly, authentically, creatively, courageously, confidence. That's all Leo. Now, if you guys know about Medea, Medea is known to use violence to protect the woman in her family. This is big mama energy. Tyler Perry may be more Medea than he is Tyler. And I don't think that it's a coincidence that after he stopped playing Medea in movie roles, the quality of his writing, which left much to be desired in the first place, it declined significantly. But he's writing more often, almost obsessively, which is Chiron in the 6th house and the Sun conjunct Pluto in Virgo. I think the obsession is not just about the work ethic. This is therapy for him. He needs to write and direct to exist in the world as a woman because most of his movies and plays and TV shows are from the perspective of a woman, but again, he's a man. So Tyler Perry has Mars square Pluto as well. He's someone who feels threatened or gets angry when he believes his power is being taken away because in a past life, his identity gave him power. And when he lost his power, he lost his life. Tyler is a very private man and he will do almost anything, including using violence, to protect himself and the people that he cares about. Tyler does not believe that he could be as powerful and wealthy and successful and respected as he is were it not for the fact that he's a man. Because of his past life experiences and even his childhood, He knows that if he were wearing a dress 24/7, he would not be the business mogul that he is today. He knows that if he attends meetings with Focus or Warner Brothers or BET or Paramount in a wig, fake breasts, makeup, and high heels, he will be looked at as less than, as someone who is mentally ill or unprofessional or confused or weak. And so he wears this costume with a suit and tie of masculinity to handle his business, but uses Medea and his work as a director and a writer to channel his creativity and his identity as a woman. So Tyler may feel safer in the male costume because he would not get the same amount of respect or power if he walked around looking and acting like Medea every day. As a matter of fact, some people would look at him like he was crazy, dressing like a grandmother when he's in his 20s, 30s, and 40s. You know, most men who dress up as women, they dress up as young vixens, right? The ideal archetype of feminine beauty. So Tyler Perry dressing up as an old grandma would seem a bit weirder than normal. Here, Tyler's Mars in Sagittarius is protecting his Venus in Leo and allowing her to express herself without fear of ridicule, judgment, or punishment. So this is one of the reasons why Tyler gets triggered when people suggest he relinquish some of his power, because he associates his masculinity with power, right? His ability to control people or tell people what to do or to have power over other people. That is important for him, and it gives him a sense of authority and protection for Medea to express herself. If Tyler Perry was broke, had no money or resources, and was walking around town looking like Medea, he will be looked at as a crazy joke. So this Mars is actually protecting his power and is giving him a sense of prestige, respect, and strength that he would not otherwise have if he were to express himself as a woman. So when people criticize him, his Mars square Pluto and Sun is being triggered, and this Chiron and Aries in his 6th house is being triggered. If he delegates too much and takes a back seat during the writing and production process, how else will he be able to live in his truth? He's using his actresses and his screenplays to channel and absorb the energy of women, but he's not necessarily only telling women's stories for the affirmation of women. He's also writing for himself. He may be fantasizing about the way that he would react and respond to the situations that he puts his characters in, especially the sex scenes. And because there's a Mars square Pluto in the 12th house or Mars square Sun in the 12th house, there's usually a significant amount of conflict, sexuality, contention, betrayal, double lives, fighting, and even violence involved in his movies. And this is his way of secretly expressing who he really is. Tyler may even be writing about stories about his past life experiences as a woman, or the way he saw women being treated as a child growing up. So all in all, Tyler uses his masculinity, his maleness, to protect his power and his business and Medea, while using his femininity as a creative outlet to create his movies. And in the movies, again, Medea is protecting the women in her family, just like Tyler may have done as the matriarch of a tribe or some sort of witch doctor or big mama in a past life. So his writing and directing is therapy for him. He has Mercury in the 12th house of the subconscious. Writing these scripts may be a way for Tyler to channel his past life as a woman, but also to live vicariously through women's experiences in this lifetime. Medea is the alter ego that was created by the superego. Tyler Perry, the man, is the ego, and Medea is the alter ego. And the superego is the process of Tyler relinquishing his male identity to act like a woman. The alter ego can also be the superego as well, because the superego is cultivated by social norms and mores. So society is more accepting of men acting like women in dresses in a comedic sense than men actually believing that they're biological women, right? Or even men being gay. So although Tyler caters to Southern Christian Black women, Medea doesn't offend his core audience because Tyler is brilliant, okay? Medea is being presented as a character or caricature or costume that is not as offensive as other male depictions of women. The 12th house is a water house, and watery houses, they dissolve and merge the past and the present. With the Sun and Pluto in the 12th house, Tyler is actually relinquishing the mask of male identity and ego to express himself as Medea, as a woman. This is where he feels the most affirmed and validated because Venus is in his 10th house and the dispositor of Venus is in the 12th house. So Tyler is relinquishing the mask of male identity without losing the power and protection that masculinity grants him. He is quite brilliant. It's almost like having the best of both worlds or both dimensions, as long as Tyler is still able to write and direct. If in the past life he was subjugated, abused, tortured, or even killed because he was a woman, what better way to reincarnate as a man with the soul of a woman, right? Here's another thing with Pluto. I told you guys a few days ago that Pluto represents things that we cannot see or hear, but we can feel it. We can sense it. It's an intuition. Tyler may believe that he is hiding himself from the public, but he can't because Medea is out here, right? So I don't think he really wants to hide behind this identity. I really think that once Uranus goes into Gemini in a couple years, this will give him the courage or the freedom to liberate himself from this self-imposed prison where he may feel like he has to put on a certain presentation or to, pretend as if he's not something that he is in order to gain some sort of acceptance from society. He's relinquishing that. He's going to actually go through a lot of drastic changes in his life because I believe that as he continues to write, but he's not being honest with himself about who he truly is as someone who identifies as a woman potentially, but in a male body, his work is going to suffer because he's not being authentic to himself. And this is similar to what happened to Whitney Houston, who had Saturn in her 12th house in Aquarius opposite Venus in Leo. Venus in Leo, again, is someone who loves to perform, who loves to express themselves, right? But Clive Davis had Whitney Houston looking like a Barbie doll and a model. And Whitney Houston was a tomboy who may have been bisexual. So Whitney Houston was suffering under the glare of celebrity because she could not be who she truly wanted to be. And that's when she started self-sabotage. I'm starting to think that Tyler Perry is subconsciously self-sabotaging his own business, his own creative, his own work, his own brand to force himself to reconcile with whatever issues that he has that is preventing him from living fully in his truth. There's something that he's hiding from himself that he does not want other people to know, or something that he's hiding from the public, which is not our business. What Tyler Perry does in his private life is not our business at all. But because he's a creative, apparently what's happening in his private life or whatever he is holding close to his chest is affecting his creative process as well. Because now we're starting to see like warped or distorted manifestations or expressions of femininity. Because there may be fear or anger even attached to his creative process. Fear of being who he truly is for whatever reason, and possibly even anger about the fact that he has to even hide who he truly is behind the women who he is writing these plays, TV shows, scripts, movies for. So he may feel like he won't be accepted for who he truly is if he were really to step out and embrace his true identity and not cover it in a mask or a costume or a caricature that gives him a false sense of security, which will ultimately become a prison. And as Uranus makes a square to his sun and Pluto, he will want to be liberated from that prison. I don't know how it's going to manifest, but with Pluto making an opposition to his ascendant over the next 20 years and Uranus making a square to his sun and Pluto, there's a possibility that he will be forced to make drastic changes in order to live in his truth, whatever that truth is. So yeah, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you guys for listening. If you want to order a personal reading, the link is in the description box. I've also decided to add educational assessments to my consultations for children ages 3 to high school. And this will be based on astrology, okay? If you guys want to know more about that, just send me an email. I look forward to reading your feedback. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll speak to you soon.